All right, let me read this. We have, can we get the rating started and wife scale, please? Okay, so he's talking about the rating 1 to 10. Wife scale. I guess, what do you rate yourself on the wife scale? 1 out of 1 to 10.
What is a wife scale?
Like, are you wife
Are you wifey
material?
material?
On a scale of 1 to 10. That's what he wants. So we'll go around the table really quick on this. Go ahead.
Wife scale, yes, absolutely. I have full capabilities of becoming a wife.
So,
Oh no.
I mean, you are correct me if I'm wrong, you are a sex worker, right?
Yeah.
Currently.
Why would you think that you would make a good wife?
Just because I have a certain profession does not take away from my ability to care, love, and provide something that my partner is seeking. So, I mean,
the science would disagree. Have you ever heard of a phenomenon called pair bonding?
No, tell me.
Are you aware that the less sexual partners a woman has, the easier it is and the more likely it is that she can pair bond with her first sexual partner?
Mm-hmm. Okay, but that doesn't mean that I can't bond with my person now.
Well, it's true. You could be the exception to the rule, but wouldn't it throw up a red flag if it was known that the more sexual partners a woman had, the less likely it would be that she would actually be able to bond with you? For instance, the more men you sleep with, the more likely you are to be divorced, for instance. The more men you sleep with, the more likely you are to step out of a long-term relationship. All of those things are true, and that's probably due to this pair bonding thing. So why would a man want to trust a sex worker to be a wife?
Maybe he has also been a part of the industry and understands. And also, there are men who make allowances or grace for women and their past. There are men out there, and it's not a subpar choice. It is just a personal choice. And as far as pair bonding goes, I believe that it is up to the woman and her own intuition and her own body and her own ability to connect with oneself when it comes to connecting with another partner. Is you have to know yourself. You have to know deep down, like, you can get all scientifical, you can bring me statistics, but all it boils down to is the woman's self-awareness and
Did you say
the connection that she
scientifical?
has with herself. I don't care. Don't grammar police me. I'm just making a point here.
You can know yourself.
Well, I was just curious, as we get into more of the scientifical data here, if we can maybe back up just a little bit.
Okay, yes.
And we can look at this objectively. If your son came to you and said, "Mom, I'm going to marry a sex worker," what would your advice to him be? Follow your dreams, my son?
My advice to my son, if he wanted to pursue a sex worker, was, does she have an exit plan? What is y'all's long-term goals? Do you support this? And if not, what is that trajectory going to look like? It's all circumstantial, and there's no just like copy and paste answer to this. It's about what one another's motives are, and if it's not a good fit, then it's not a good fit, and it's not going to be beneficial or healthy for everyone.
Now, let's say he came home with Betty Sue, and he loved Betty Sue, and Betty Sue had no sexual partners, and she was just head over heels for him, and so was a sex worker at the same time. Mm-hmm. And their prospects looked about the same to you. Which one would you recommend your boy go with?
Whatever he feels, whichever.
No, what would you recommend? Not
me
what
personally.
I know. We already know his feelings. He can't decide. Mom, what should I do, Mom?
Okay.
Should I go with the prostitute or with Betty Sue? Which one would you tell him?
I would look at either girl's ambition and what they want to do with their life, because Betty Sue can be a leech, and that prostitute or whoever it is can be self-sufficient and want to add value.
They both want to be
whoever's going to
veterinarians. They both have
add
about the
value.
same IQ. and they both have about the same resources to go to veterinarian school. If you had to choose, which one would you tell your boy he should go with?
Whoever's going to add the most value to his life. And if this prostitute or whoever it is can give him more life advice or more knowledge that's going to help him in the long term, then so be it.
And which one would you just intuitively say, without looking at any scientific data at all, if your boy asked you, which one do you think will be more loyal to me? Which one would you think you would tell him would be more loyal, was more likely to be more loyal to him?
I believe it's all about their own personal choice to commit.
Oh my
So, yeah, I mean, you can look at someone's past behavior, you can look at all of that, but it's about the commitment and the now and the choice that they're making. So Betty Sue may have not been with anyone else, and that might motivate her to pursue other options, as opposed to this prostitute who has been with several people and knows what else is out there, knows that my son is a good man, and that she is winning the lottery because she has experienced all of these other things.
But sexual experience means nothing in the dating world, because if your son, hypothetical son, is going into a relationship with a sex worker, which both of you are.
The Bronasons donated $100. Left to right, Morgan wife 8, purple jacket 3 not a wife, already a wife, angry A cups 4 and not a wife, Kmart Cardi B 4, Queen of Australia 6 wife, Bunny Ranch Thought 4, Leche Bags 3 not a wife.
Yo, this guy's gunning for me.
Man.
Oh,
This guy is gunning for me,
we
bro.
have one more coming through, and then Morgan will finish with her question there. Thank you, KDF. Thank you, the Renaissance. So the guys before me weren't good enough for you to settle down with, but they still got to F. Now I'm the man of your dreams, but I don't even get what the bums got. Make it make sense. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's going back to what I was talking about before. So women will, like, it's just funny with that, like, they'll give the sexual benefit to these, you'll say they're fuckboys, they were jerks, assholes, not deserving of it. And then the guy who is actually deserving of it, he's the good guy, whatever, he's the one who gets to wait. Men are waking up to this and seeing that's kind of a raw deal. And yeah.
Can I just make this last point real quick? I'm almost done.
Okay, and then we'll have
I was just
Morgan come.
curious,
Yeah, you're
just
good.
curious on this, just back to you real quick. How would you feel if you hadn't eaten breakfast this morning?
For me?
Yes, you.
Oh, I mean, I had breakfast.
Okay, I thought you did. Thank you.
Was that a jab? What was the point of that question?
Nickelodeon donated $100. She would tell him neither, because her degenerate ass will be desperate to keep the only man in her life to herself.
She would tell me there because her will be desperate.
As if like
Okay.
my hypothetical
Yeah.
son
Andrew,
would
do you
be
want to
going
explain that really quick?
Yeah, so this question, and it's more of a meme. It doesn't really have any scientific foundation at all, but it is kind of funny. If you ask a person what they had for breakfast this morning, you're engaging, or how would they feel if they hadn't had breakfast this morning? What you're doing is you're engaging in a hypothetical, and you're trying to examine what they think they would feel like had they not eaten breakfast. But there's many people who can't engage in hypotheticals, and so they just respond with, but I did have breakfast this morning. And so that's the point of the question.
Interesting. Interesting. Morgan, you had a question.
And you, just to be clear, you did have breakfast this morning.
I don't understand. Okay, all I hear is breakfast right now, so let's keep it rolling.
Okay.
The point I was making is that if there is a woman who has a significantly high body count, a sex worker, and then a woman who does not, statistically, morally, physically, you can know your inner being as much as you want. But if you have slept with 100 plus people or even 50 plus people, that woman is going to most likely cheat on her husband. She is going to want to divorce her husband. She is going to want to leave in that situation because sexual experience means nothing. You can sleep around with as many people as you want in your past life and then going into a marriage, but that sexual experience is not actually offering anything to the marriage other than her actually being insecure in that marriage and always constantly comparing. And Andrew was bringing up pair bonding, and it's the oxytocin, it's the hormones in a woman's body that is being released, that when you are engaging in intercourse with a man, you are being bonded to that person and then creating the inability to be able to connect with future partners for a longer term relationship.
But I've also heard people being like older people being like 30s in their 40s being like, I've only slept with my wife and da 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 da, and this is why we're breaking up, and it didn't go as planned, and like I wish I got to experience more people when I was younger, and I feel like
Who says that? The man or the woman?
A lot of the times the man. A lot of the times the man.
Which, I mean, sure, that may be like a 5 to 10% of
I don't think it's a 5 to 10% of marriage.
There is a significant large gap between women who have a lower body count versus women who have a higher body count, and the happiness in marriage, success in marriage, and divorce rate in our country. I mean, 53% of marriages end in divorce in America, and 80% are initiated by the woman.
I'd like to add a little bit. Also, the multiple relationships, the sexual relationships, whatever. You're also practicing to divorce because you're never committing to anything. You're just learning how to break up. And so the more partners that you're having, the more likely it is that you're going to divorce. You'd have to work 10 times as hard to stay in that relationship had you been somebody who had multiple relationships.
I have a question. Can I ask you something?
Sure.
How do you not have feelings for people that you have sex with?
That's a really good question, and it's pretty common. It's about compartmentalizing, and it's a choice. Okay. So, yeah, that's it. It's compartmentalizing.
Do you find it difficult to do that? Is it easy?
No, because at the end of the day, like, it's a job, and it's like, okay, I'm not going to chalk it up to anything because it's its own field, and there's no right comparison, and I would be doing it injustice if I tried to make a comparison. But it's about compartmentalizing, and it is a choice to kind of turn on those feelings and those connections. And if you are someone who does not have that ability, then maybe that's not the right field, or maybe you need to get in touch with yourself a little bit more before you start to engage in promiscuous activity.
Do you think it's gotten easier to compartmentalize the more you've been in the industry?
I would say yes, and I would say yes. It's something that you have to have kind of already, and you have to have that relationship with yourself. That's why this industry, this profession is not for everybody. And that's why so many people do have problems. That's why you do hear these stories, is because the women themselves have not done that self-work to be able to differentiate what is work.
So then that means that it's, you as you go, it's becoming more and more common for you to be able to not pair bond with your sexual partners.
It's a choice. That's why I believe that this whole pair bonding.
Well, wait. Is loving a person a choice? Like loving a man that you fall in love with, is that a choice or is it not a choice?
You can have control over your own feelings and your own emotions as much as you want. So I can feel something for her, and I can feel that strong connection, and I can say, no, I don't want to pursue that, because that will not honor me in these other ways.
But when asked, most women will say, and this is, you can look up data on this as well, that they don't have a choice as to who it is they're attracted to and who it is that they love. Of course, the reason for this is pair bonding. So if you're saying I can now compartmentalize that, and you're basically saying now I can control who it is that I fall in love with and don't fall in love with. It's not even a choice now, right? Or now it is a choice, whereas before it would not have been. Wouldn't you consider this to be kind of a pushback against this idea that, maybe you're not so great with the pair bonding? If you could just turn it off like that? Like, why couldn't you just turn it off like that with your boyfriend, too?
Because I choose not to.
Right, because you choose not to, right.
Dive deeper into that. So I mean, and some encounters are, it's a progression, right? So when the first time you have sex with someone, you might feel like really, really into them, and then the next time it's not really there. Or you might have sex with with a person, and it's good, it's great, but you don't feel that connection. But the next time, after time has progressed, you feel a deeper connection. It's all circumstantial.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is that if most women don't have a choice, let's say, on a biological level, they fall head over heels for the person that they engage with the very first time in a sexual romantic relationship. Their biological drive is telling them to do that. You're saying, not mine. I've got a choice. I can just turn that shit off. How would that not be a red flag to a guy? Wouldn't the guy be like, you can just turn that on and off?
I mean, that's his I mean, not everyone's gonna have that ability, and I mean, it's what you decide to do.
Right,
with
that's
your
my
own
whole point.
personal
Not
life.
everyone's gonna have that ability,
Yeah.
but women who've had many, many, many sexual partners, especially who are in the porn industry, I could see them having that ability very easily, right? They could just turn that shit off.
Yeah.
So I don't. It seems like that would be like a massive red flag, right?
Well, if you're in a relationship, are you able to control it as much as it is opposed to, like, say, one of your clients or anything like that?
Control what?
Do you have more?
I don't have clients. I have co-performers and co-stars.
How many scenes have you done?
I've done some.
Some? Okay.
Yeah. To answer your question is, for me, sometimes I have to, like with my partner, sometimes I want to go and I can dive deeper into that. And then sometimes I just want that sexual satisfaction from my partner. So not everyone all over the world, every time they have sex, is going to feel that deep connection with their partner every single time. And it has to be the right moment, the right time. And so if like you and your husband are horny and wherever, and you only have a certain amount of time, you're not going to be able to have that whole like special interaction, that special feeling, that magical moment whenever you're crunched for time. So I think it applies all across the board, is like you have to actively seek that and feel that in that moment. And again,
Here, we're going to move on. The original question was, going around the table, what do you rate yourself 1 out of 10 on the wife scale? Go ahead.
Well, I'm not looking to be a wife right now.
Ever?
So that's.
So
my take
right
on
now,
it.
what are you on the wife scale?
Well, I'm not looking to be a wife right now, so I have no wife qualities. I work all the time. I work too much. So.
Okay, let's say 0 then.
10.
10? Okay.
0.
You're 0 because of the stripping?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm decently high up there on the wife scale, I feel like. Especially with my current partner now.
You want to give us a number?
I'll go with 9.
Okay.
My husband would say 10, but I would actually say like an 8, 9. But I say that because I just had a baby, so like wifely duties, like
Sure.
the intimacy and stuff has been a little on the lesser side right
Yeah,
now.
I say 9 because there's always
So
room for
I feel like some of
improvement.
my duties I haven't been performing 100% because of newborn.
Okay.
Oh wait, that's not a mark against you.
Yeah.
That's not a mark against you that you just had a baby, and so you're exhausted and you're staying up all night taking care of your baby. They're crying. You have a
Yeah.
mixed feeding schedule. That's good wifing. That's
Okay.
right. That's points added,
Yeah,
right?
I was thinking that when the question was asked, I was like, I'm not really like doing.
Well,
yeah.
now, does your husband have to get up in the middle of the night and go do any of that?
He does. We.
Oh, well, then that's
he
negative
wants to.
numbers. But other than that,
no.
other than that,
So
you were doing
yeah.
great.
Actually, like so with the pumping, he decided, like, look, you've been getting up so much, I will take on, like, just leave me a bottle and I'll get up with her.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he was going to pump.
No,
like,
I've
like I meet the parents, you're going to milk
yeah, no,
him.
No.
Like milk.
So like we came with, you know, a routine. Yeah, that has worked for both of us. It's his first kid, so
Sure.
he was glad to do stuff.
What about you?
Yeah.
I would say a 9.
9 in the wife? Wait, you're a 9 in the wife?
I would say so, yeah.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I mean, I just have a caring heart, and I feel like I would be a great wife, and I'm great with children, and I want a family, and that's like where my mindset's at right now, that I want to be a wife.
The reason I'm a bit is incredulous is that the right word? Andrew, is that the right word, incredulous? You said you've been...
That would be the correct context for the word, yes,
All right.
incredulous.
Yeah.
I also, Brian, am very incredulous, but I'll let you lead off here.
You say you're a 9 in the wife department, but you've been single for 5 years, so the guys aren't seeing the wife.
Maybe she's waiting for the right guy to give it to. Give the wifey
give them the
qualities
wife.
to.
Yeah, I'm just, you know, I want the right person, and obviously in my past for the 5 years, I just haven't found that right person. And I've been learning and growing, and yeah, I mean, I'm not perfect.
A 9 on the wife scale, though, I mean, that's high on the wife scale. I would assume you would have no problem finding a partner if you're you know what I mean? Wait, did you say of the these 3 to 6 month relationships?
Yeah.
More often than not, were you ending them, or was the guy ending them? Because if you're ending them, you could probably make an argument for you being a 9 on the wife scale. But if they're ending it, you know what I mean?
I think it's a mixture, but most of the time maybe I've ended it because I started to realize I want something, you know, more seriously. And some of them weren't taking it as seriously into a relationship.
All right, Morgan, what about you? 1 to 10 on the wife
scale.
On the wife scale.
I would give myself a 9. I would give myself a 9.
All right, there you go. 9 for Morgan. Now because she also rated, do I need to grill you as hard?
What,
I don't
me?
know.
You should go for it.
What's going on, Morgan?
Why am I a 9
What's
on
going
the wife
on?
scale?
Where's the husband? Where's the fiance?
Husband? You know, dating intentionally. I can cook. I can clean.
Oh.
I actually love cooking. On my Instagram, a lot of guys will actually swipe up on my recipes and I'll go like, that looks delicious. I am willing to forego career to pursue motherhood and being a wife. That's what I want. Since I was a kid, I've always wanted to be a mom.
Would you still consider? Because I mean, you're out there kind of as a How do you describe the work you do? Like a content creator? You're like a political pundit? What?
I would say media personality.
Media personality, political commentator.
Yeah,
maybe.
Political commentator. That works. News.
So, but are you gonna when you want to totally retreat from public life once you get married, or will you still kind of do stuff?
There will be. Instagram and YouTube will still be there, but that will not be at the forefront of my focus at all. It will be like if I have a news hit or if I have a podcast appearance that I can make, but it's not going to be my current schedule of traveling 4 times every week. It will be, maybe once a month.
How many sons do you want?
How many sons do I want? Well, I want 5 kids.
5 kids. Okay. All right. So, good times. 3
to 5.
All right. 3 to 5.
I need sons to continue the lineage and take care of the daughters. So.
All right. Okay.
Brian, what are you on the wife's? I mean,
the husband
scale.
Yeah, that's a good question.
On the wife scale, I'm a 0.
Well, the husband scale. The husband scale.
Husband scale. That's a good question. 7?
Why?
7?
Why?
Well, how do I articulate this? Well, you asked husband versus father. I feel like I think I'd be higher on the father scale. Husband scale?
Just the husband scale.
A 7. I'm a solid 7.
All right.
Why are you a 7 though?
I don't know. I've never been asked this question, so I feel like I need to think it over.
You gotta ask questions that you could be able to answer.
I never answer questions. That's the thing. So I always get bamboozled when somebody's like, "Well, tell us about you, Brian." I'm like, "Holy shit, this is new."
Start including that.
Let's see. I mean, I can tell you 7 on the husband scale. Well, okay. Well, here's the thing, right? I'm actually a 0 on the husband scale because don't want to get married.
Period, right?
So
there
I'm
we
a 0
go.
on the husband scale. Don't
Now
want to
we
get
finally
married.
agree.
But like in the
No.
colloquial sense of like a husband. Oh, fuck, I'm sorry, dandruff. Fucking just came out of nowhere. Yeah, I'm a 0 because I don't want to get married.
I'm glad we
Fair.
can agree.
I could have sorry, not a wife. I could have someone I'm with for the rest of my life. It can be a monogamous relationship. I can have kids even.
But you wouldn't marry them?
Maybe a religious ceremony, but then I'd have to look into the various legalities when it comes to even if you even have a religious ceremony. Do you have a common law marriage? I don't know if that's the case in California. If I end up moving somewhere, I'd have to look into the legalities of it. If you want to have like a token ceremony, or excuse me, I shouldn't say token ceremony. If you're really dead set on having a ceremony, but in the government's eye, in the state's eye, I'm not getting married.
Right.
I'm not getting married.
I'm glad we can see eye to eye.
What's up,
Brian?
Let's go. Yeah, it's just like, here, let me ask you a question. What can I get in a marriage that I can't just get from a long-term monogamous relationship?
I guess there's like different legal benefits and like,
You mean you mean negative
Your taxes
legal.
are better.
I don't care. It's,
Say tax credits.
the
taxes.
tax benefits are so negligible to me. I don't care.
Same.
Do you
I don't
think
care.
do you think your kids will care that you're not married to their mum?
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, no.
They won't care.
Maybe not. Maybe if you're raising
I mean,
them
there's
in that
really
environment.
there's no longer any societal stigma to having kids out of wedlock, and there's no societal stigma to divorce. So I don't think they would, so long as we're loving and caring parents. I can't imagine the kids if we raise them in, like, for example, a household that doesn't elevate marriage. I don't think they would care, to be
Right.
honest.
Yeah.
Perhaps, I mean, depending if their influence within their friend group. I mean, I don't think that would play a role, though.
Okay.
Yeah. But so
See, in the spirit of Dragon Ball Z, the Dragon Ball Z theme that Brian's been going with since nobody asked me, but I'll tell you anyway. On the husband scale, my power level's over 9,000. It's insane. I am quite possibly the best which has ever existed on the husband scale. My aforementioned
It's over 9,000!
detailed orientation around duty to my family is just simply unparalleled. Just so you know.
second to
Plus,
none.
my wife said I was a 10, so I'm just regurgitating what she said.
But I'll open the question up to the rest of the table, then we'll move on to something else. But what can I get, or what can I get in a marriage that I cannot get in a long-term monogamous relationship?
It's not. I don't think it's about you. Like, marriage is not really for men. It's for the children and the mother.
What do my, okay, fine, let's talk, sure. What do my children get if I'm married to my partner versus just a long-term monogamous relationship?
Stability, maybe? I
No,
guess?
but it's a long-term. Let's say that relationship goes for life. Let's compare like for like. So you're in a marriage and it goes for life. No divorce. Everything's good. Great. Like, everything's good compared to me in a long-term relationship. Everything's good. We're together for life. What's the difference for the kids?
I think it's easier to escape in a sense. Like I know
No,
you're saying,
no. But
There's
the
no fault
scenario
divorce.
there's no
Raise your
there's
hand.
no room for
for what?
like escaping at all. This is like set. Like it's going to continue like this. You're saying.
Right.
Okay.
Wait. So what? What? Oh, were you gonna?
You're asking what your benefit is, not.
What's the
not-
benefit for anybody?
okay.
I guess religious perspective. Like if you're looking at it from a religious perspective, it's like security and like,
Yeah, right. But secular marriage itself doesn't make sense. And to Brian's point, the response that you had was, well, it seems like it's easier for you to escape. From a position of privilege, right? That's a hell of a thing to say, because right now it's easier for the woman to, quote, escape, and the woman who gets, quote, the benefits, right, of escaping, whereas the man does not in the current marriage market for secularists. So, to your point on religion, sure, but what would actually be the point of a secularist getting married? I don't understand what the point of that would even be.
Genuinely, there is none. Like, I'm coming from this from a religious point of view, but from a secular view, there really isn't a necessary point other than, you just want to be married on a piece of paper, or you want the tax credits. Right. But if you are 100% secular, you're living with your partner, you're sleeping with your partner, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you have kids together, you have dogs together, it's going to be virtually the same as than if you were married. From a religious point of view, I think that secularism has tainted what marriage is and the beauty of marriage, because it was intended of, yes, you get to live with your partner when you're married. You get to be intimate with your partner when you're married. You get to do these things together when you're married. But now in society, we're doing that all before marriage, to where it's true. What is the point of marriage? What is the point of commitment and having a marriage and having that unity if you're already doing all the benefits beforehand? So I agree, when there are guys that are like, what is the point of getting married? I feel for that, because truly, within the society that we live in now, what is the point of getting married if you're not holding out or waiting or intentionally doing those things for marriage?
You're asking me?
Or no, just in general. I was just laying it out.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's really, there's not really much in it for men right now, because men can have anything they want really before marriage, and that's very, very frequent. So.
And I don't want to be like the black pill, like no one should get married, because I do think that marriage is really beautiful, but I do think that women and men both need to raise their standards.
What's beautiful about secular marriage?
No, not secular marriage. I think they need to raise their standards to where they're not pursuing something that is a completely secular lifestyle.
Do you even consider secular marriage?
Personally,
no. Okay.
I would consider it maybe like a civil union. You're married, quote unquote, within, government standards. You live together, you're unified. But no, I view marriage between a man and a woman under the eyes of God.
So basically, the panel's advice to the viewers here, if you're not religious, there's zero reason you should get married.
Well, also, just to piggyback off that further, there never was. There never was a reason to get married other than through religious sanctification. If there was, I would like to know what it was.
And if I can piggyback off of that, not only is there no beneficial reason to get married, there's actually plenty of reasons why you shouldn't get married outside of a religious context. For secular reasons, there's numerous reasons why there's numerous reasons why a woman should do it, assuming she's not the breadwinner. But there's a lot of reasons from the male perspective why you shouldn't do it. We're talking alimony, we're talking communal property, we're talking half your shit.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it, gentlemen. Don't do it. You can come crying back to me after you get divorced, and we'll talk about it.
Well, now prenups are more popular.
Don't care.
No.
What's the point? Okay,
care.
cool. Prenups. Cool. So then, when you want to dispute the prenup because you feel like the prenup was unconscionable, you signed an unconscionable contract, then we're each going to be paying, or if I'm the breadwinner, I'm going to be paying for my lawyer, and then I have to pay for your lawyer for us to argue over the legalities and the enforceability of this contract, which we both signed.
Wouldn't the ultimate prenup be to just not get married?
That's the ultimate prenup.
Ultimate prenup?
That's the ultimate prenup. Okay, I'm going to read these two chats, then we got some more stuff. Wait, did we? No, we read this one, right? Morgan, can I have you read this one?
Yes, a woman's past is very important to a man. If women were open about their past, honest about every aspect of it, and used some common sense, maybe they'd have a better chance of finding good partners and long-lasting relationships. Ever think of that? I agree.
Oh, thoughts for thoughts. Thank you, man. And then we have Daniel W., if you can read this one.
Marriage is a commitment. I have dealt with my children daily when I say, quote, when are mom and you going to live together again? I want mom and you to love one another again. Happy is a state of mind and it wanes and grows. Women are taught today to give up and classify everything as abuse. No fault divorce.
Yeah, this is a fantastic point that the super chatter Daniel brings up, which is that marriage is not ultimately about happiness. Yeah. It's about submission to God, and it's about growing a family. That's the point of marriage. It's not about, it's never been about, you can have whole years, multiple years in a marriage where you're miserable due to the conditions that you're in. It happens. And it's like, it's never been the point that you get married because of happiness or you stay married due to happiness. That's just absurd. That's why I don't think secularists can really make it in marriage and why they fail so often. Or the Christians who basically identify as being Christian but who are actually secularists as well, is because they see it as a happiness index rather than as what it's supposed to be, which is a long-term commitment under God that you're not supposed to break, covenant you're not supposed to break. And even if you're miserable, you're supposed to work through that shit together.